Hi, my name is Dennis Siri. I am Executive Director and founder of the New York City Independent Film Festival, Independent in Spirit, International at Heart, and this is the New York City Independent Film Festival Meet the Filmmakers podcast. Join us while we meet this year's filmmakers. Thank you. Bye bye. Hi, we're here with Jonathan. Welcome, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us. So tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. Thanks so much for having me, Dennis. Yeah, my name's Jonathan Coleman. I'm a filmmaker, writer, director, producer, and then I have a side gig as a voice artist. So everything I do is just trying to make and put things out into the world. And yeah, I'm in New York. Been here for 15 years and loving every second of it. That's a lie. Love a lot of it. Uh, and yeah, we're so thrilled to have this film this year. I've been trying to make a short film every year. I think this is the fourth one in a row. And yeah, just really excited with the response and where this is getting into. So
Great. Thank you. Welcome for joining us.
thank you.
Thank you for joining us. All right. So my first question is, what made you want to be a filmmaker?
Oh my
When
gosh.
did that happen?
No, it's a great question. I'll give you the short answer. I was born holding a camcorder in my hand. Uh, the truth is, I honestly, at about 10, I convinced my mom to get us a digital camera because I told her, I was like, don't you want our memories to be preserved forever in perfect digital? It wasn't even HD, it was just digital. It was a new thing. And she got it for us. And instead of filming all of our memories as a family, I just filmed like me and my brother, like doing little like action figure stories and shorts and things. And that's how it all started. And I haven't stopped.
Okay, well, that's good. And your family and friends, what they say? Oh, first you have to get your economics degree, your law degree, or what when you first said, I'm going to be a filmmaker.
I'm really lucky. I've had almost nothing but encouragement. There's one person in my family, and I won't say who it is, but there was a real dry spell, as I think there often is with creatives and artists. And during that dry spell, without me asking, this person sent me just an email. It was a job listing at a company in back in the Midwest where I'm from. And I'm not saying that made me upset, but it certainly reminded me of like what I was trying to do and what would happen if I didn't keep trying. But yeah, almost everything I've received is just like encouragement and like, you're doing what you love and like whether you succeed or not, it's not like doesn't define you, but it's so wonderful to like have had this many years doing this. And I want to keep doing this for the rest of my life. So we'll see how that goes, but it's nice to have that support.
That's great. And do you have your tribe, your support group where you are, your village of filmmakers?
Absolutely. I believe like really, really firmly just how vital it is to have that, right? Like nobody's an island, and I like to work on scripts alone. I tend to be a solo writer, but you need those trusted voices. And yeah, I have so many like just great years long friendships and people that I trust, like their taste. My producing partner, also my fiance, soon to be wife, her taste is extraordinary, and Kara Stanish is someone that I can like rely on all the time, right? But then way beyond just the two of us, our whole circle of friends and extended for like just everyone, I'm like I feel like I'm swimming in the ocean of just good supportive artists' voices. So absolutely.
Good. Good. I spoke to some people in Sweden who they were like, everybody looks at us as though we're weird. We're the weird brothers. I'm like, okay.
Sometimes that's good though, right? Like sometimes having those voices like it's like the what would you call it? Like the pearl and the oyster, right? Like
Yeah.
you need
The
like some grit
scratchiness. Yeah.
and it makes something. It's
Oh,
not fun, but
yeah.
chin can be good.
Okay, so what made you decide to make this movie, Dear Owner?
It's a
What
great
brought that?
question. Yeah, so we made Dear Owner because a dear friend of mine, Mark Pecos, who is the screenwriter, had written this as a play probably like 15 years ago, early on in our friendship. And during 2020, reached out to me and asked if I would direct it for a play competition, an online one. So we did that. and I, wasn't expecting it to go anywhere. He won best screenplay, best writer at that festival. So he had a little prize money. He offered to pay me some for the help in directing it, and I was like, no, let's put that money into this adaptation, and like let's make a thing that can go live a bit wider of a life than just like one single, live play competition. So that was the start of it. And yeah, a year and a half later, finished filming it and editing it and color and sound, all the good stuff. Um, and here we are. And everybody, we just literally this last week we won a prize over in Cleveland, Programmer's Choice Award for it. So it's been a really, really cool journey with this one. And I'm so grateful for Mark's words and for Karis and her producing talent. And she's acting in it as well. And everyone else, Juan and Mishka, Kelly, people behind the scenes. Yeah, a wonderful experience.
Great, great. Right. So what was the hardest part and what was the easiest part?
The hardest part, and you cannot tell this by looking at the film, we filmed it in August in New York City, and people may understand this, but most of New York spaces have no central air, so you're just your window units. Problem with the window unit, it's loud. We turned those things off the entire day, both days of the shoot. Uh, the makeup artists, they deserve an award for cleaning the sweat dripping off of everybody and making them look at all comfortable, because it was a sauna. Uh, Worth it, but very, very much not my favorite climate. I would like to film outdoors in the Arctic, and not there, but we made it.
And about what was the fun part?
I mean, everything else. I mean, truly, like the team was amazing. Everybody from, yeah, people I hadn't worked with before to like new friends. Dan DeJesus, our DP, was brilliant. Laura Sala, our production designer, is like so wonderful and talented. Yeah, truly the team that we built. I was so happy with everyone's work. And things go wrong, little mistakes. It's not a huge shoot, but like you need everything to go well until it doesn't, and then you have to fix it. And everyone came together, the heat, everyone put up with it, like little things, being late on the second day, working into the evening. Like it was just a great group of people.
Cool. All right. So this is more a generic question. When you finish a project, do you put it away and say, okay, that child's out into the world? Yeah, there's maybe a couple of mistakes in there, but I'm happy. I'm moving on to the next project. Or you sit there and look at it and go, oh, I have to fix this and fix that, and someday I'm going to get the money and do it. Which way? What are you?
It's a bit of both, right? Like uh, no, nothing is ever finished. It's just abandoned. I forget if that was, I think Picasso said that, like art, that, and any art, any work of expression, it's connected to the self, right? Like I didn't write this project, but I connected with the material, and in the directing, it becomes part of you. And essentially, when you have to like move on from something and finish it, you're saying goodbye to part of yourself, and that's really hard. So I'm thankful actually for like the way the system of like filmmaking and festivals work, like the cyclical nature of it. Like you have to be done after a
At some
certain
point.
point. You have to start putting it into the world, and it's just as good as it's going to get. Um, and also, the longer I live, the more I'm like, little imperfections, little things that aren't quite what you wanted, but like it's the evidence that it was made. I am actually minding that less and less. I really like the human touch, things that prove that we're not perfect, because no one is perfect, but just reminders that, not to get into the whole AI conversation, but I like remembering that we made this with our own bare hands, and there's fingerprints all over it, and that's actually a good thing.
Always remember the stormtrooper walking into the doorway. Thump. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, that's a great one. I love that. That's a great deep pull, but a good one. That's
Yeah.
funny.
All right. So in the indie film world, we all know we're not going to buy mansions and penthouses and private jets. So what does success look like to you in the indie film world?
I love that question. To me, success looks like this right now. I get to talk to you about art. You're talking to me about art. Both of us, I mean, I think you are, but I know I am doing what I love, and
Mhm.
I'm getting to share it with people who I think want to get it. They may not all get it, but they're approaching it because they want to engage with it. And that's success. You know, that's the real success, because you cannot control how many people see a thing. You know, you can't control if anybody likes a thing. All you can do is make a thing the best you can. And again, it's never going to be perfect, but we can bring as much of ourselves as we're willing to it, and then put it out there, and then we get to talk about it and have a conversation and just like, be connected because of a thing that we made. So I'm very happily successful today.
Okay, great. All right. So somebody comes along and goes, "Hi, Uncle Jonathan, I'm going to be a filmmaker just like you." What would you say? What would be your advice? What would be your conversation?
Um, it's easier than you think, and it's harder than you think. Um, it's easier because all you have to do is just start making films. There was a chunk of my life, pretty much like 25 to 35, where I did not make any short films, any commercials, anything. And I had moved to New York, and it was really busy, and I was beginning to try to build my career there. And I regret that 10 years, that part of those 10 years, because I could have made something, and it wouldn't have been necessarily polished or like very like big in scope, but I didn't. It's actually not that hard to just like go out, especially like, everyone says this, but like phones. If you have a phone, doesn't matter what type of phone, it can film something, it can record something. Um, just doing it at all is important, because until you've tried, you haven't actually like done anything. So on the one hand, it's easier, but then of course on the other hand, it is uh those 10 years that I wasn't making anything, you got to pay rent. New York, I forget the name of the comedian, but he had this great joke about, every year in New York, your rent goes up sometimes by like 10%, right? Like that's not crazy, up 10% every year. It means that New York City expects you to get 10% better every year. And that's a heavy expectation. It's not my line, it's this comedian's line, but it's true. It's like,
The line.
yep, if you want to stay in this city, you better get quite a bit better every year at earning. And so that's a heavy weight. And like sometimes between like, your job and relationship and friendships and just sanity, you don't also have time to make a thing. So being smart about that, taking care of yourself first, put the oxygen mask on yourself first, make sure you're okay, and then do art. That is the harder part. So, you know, try though, try. That's what I would say.
The movie is Dear Owner, and it's going to show Wednesday, June 5th at the New York City Independent Film Festival at the Producers Club. So come see it. And Jonathan, any last words? Thank you for being here with us. Anything you want to add? Any words, pearls of wisdom to the filmmaking world?
Oh my gosh, pearls of wisdom. I mean, I'll just recap what I said, like if you want to make a pearl, it's going to take a lot of grit and sand on the oyster, and that's uncomfortable and it's difficult and it's painful and it takes a long time. But if you can like, take it and get back up and keep taking it and get back up and try, you'll get somewhere. And if you're really lucky, you get somewhere like this. And I hope that everyone can come see it and enjoy the film. It was a real pleasure to make, and it's a real pleasure to share it with everyone.